Built this empire from the ground, never backing down, never bound. Two hearts, one vision, we stay true. In the thick of it, in the Phipps of it.
Welcome to In the Phipps of It. I'm Natasha Phipps.
And I'm Rodney Phipps.
Welcome to our podcast.
We're here to talk about life, love, our pursuit of authentic happiness.
We are married, we work together, we're parents to two amazing kids, and we hope you enjoy the show.
All right, here we are. Back again.
We're back.
We're back. So, where do we start?
Start at the beginning.
Start at the beginning. Always the best. So, we get asked a lot, I think, about how we met, how we first, started dating, all that fun stuff. Mm-hmm. I think it always surprises people that we've known each other as long as we have. We first met when we were 14.
13 or 14, yeah.
Around 13 or 14, yeah.
Yeah.
I may have been, yeah. At like a student village camp thing. It was a very interesting kind of first experience. Mm-hmm. I remember it very clearly. I don't know if your memories are quite as clear as mine, but we have a photo still in our house of the two of us. I still had braces, a goofy look on my face because I was trying to keep my braces out of the photo.
It's the same age as our son is right now.
I know, that's the part that's really scary.
He's 14. That's how, that's where we were.
Yeah, exactly. And then it took roughly 10 years for me to get the courage up to ask you out. So for that 10 years, we kind of went about our education and our life journey.
We had mutual friends and we saw each other.
Yes.
Like here and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. We would, obviously I was not living in Calgary, so I'd be coming in and out of town. The funny side note that I always tell is my cousin would kind of keep tabs. Would come into town and be like, "Have you seen Tash yet?" we're like,
I had no idea about it.
Yeah, of course you didn't know it was all going on, but he'd give me the updates, and then I was living in Montreal at the time, working with my friend Karim, who now is the owner-operator of Longview Steakhouse and crushing it. I was living in Montreal, helping him open a restaurant there, and came back in to town to see family and went to a Flames game. And convinced our mutual friend Shannon to drag you out to the bar.
I had a test the next day. I was being responsible.
You're very responsible. And so I don't know why you agreed to join us. And actually, side note, I did some research, went back digging, and that's 20 years ago to the day, March 3rd. So
this year,
20 years,
wow.
20 years from that. I was full of courage, perhaps influenced by the liquid kind, and kind of cut right to the chase. And I believe I told you that if I had a ring in my pocket, I'd propose to you right there on the spot.
Yes, that's about what it was.
So 0 to 100. And
I thought you were nuts.
Yes, you may still think I'm nuts, but and that kind of kicked it off. And then we dated for a little while, kind of long distance. I had a mental health incident, you could say, early on in our relationship. When I think we can go into more depth on that maybe in a future episode with touches on mental health and how we how we
broke my heart.
Yeah, and also importantly how we've supported each other in that way. And
yes.
I think a big part of my my mental health journey has been your support and your encouragement to work on that part of myself. But
and
that's
that
a whole
ties
thing.
so much into like success in life, success in relationships, in business, how we are taking care of our mind.
Yes.
And how as partners we are helping each other with that, because that's not just a one-way street. You do a lot for me in that capacity as well. And thankfully I think that did force us to pay a lot of attention to that, like when we came back together
Yes.
and we're like, hey, we're going to make a go of this. Like, that was really important to both of us.
Yes, and I think something that will come up a lot as we have our discussions is intentionality. And I think, to your point, what that forced us was to be intentional about the decisions we made, not just together, but for each other, for our own health, for whether it's physical or mental, intention on how we spend the time we do together, and make the decisions that we make. And so that was the first sort of wake-up call towards what I already knew. I was struggling with mental health, and that was the first like real, like, okay, this is not something you can just self-medicate or pretend doesn't exist. And that will be a whole probably series of episodes later on. But going back to the origin story, after that little break, big break, we decided to give it one proper shot. We moved to Penticton together.
Sorry, Mom.
Yeah, sorry, Sharon. Picked a spot that neither of us really had a social network or a distraction, and sort of went, let's go somewhere, let's give this a proper shot.
Less snow.
Less snow.
A
lot of fun. Was working as a chef there, did a lot of catering and private events and wine tours and different things like that. And that's where you got your real estate license.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where, I was first licensed in British Columbia, and hard market to get started in, knowing pretty well nobody.
Yeah.
And in a very small town. So, it was a struggle, but we did really well there.
Yes.
But business was tough there.
Yeah, and then definitely an intro into what your career would take, I think, in a way. And also for ourselves, we had our mutual assets, and that was where the assets came together, investment, real estate, personal residences, and that as well. You didn't know this at the time, and in my head, I sort of had committed to that if we could spend a year together, and you hadn't murdered me with good reason, then it would be time to propose for real this time with an actual ring. And so about a year and a half being there, we went to Vegas, and I proposed.
Yes.
That was also kind of a funny side story. I was very desperate to have a bottle of champagne, and anybody who's been to Vegas, room service is generally not an issue. I think you're going to get room service in 10 minutes. They just have a well-oiled machine. Well, I called in. We're getting ready
when you're trying to order nice champagne.
Yeah, exactly. They run up to your room and charge what I was trying to buy, and I couldn't get anyone on the phone. And so I you're getting ready, and I run down to the little store they have in the Palazzo there and get a full bottle of champagne. We're going to eat in 15 minutes. And here I am grabbing a full bottle of champagne.
Freaking out about this.
Freaking out. The nice thing is we have the glasses as keepsakes, but ran back up to the room, did the somewhat classic putting the ring in the glass of champagne. And I will never forget the look on your face when you went to take a sip and you saw the ring and this puzzled look on your face.
I did not know it was a ring.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Was it dirt? Was it what?
And what the heck is in this glass?
Yeah, and I was confident you would say yes, but that look didn't exactly vibe with the confidence. But then quickly recovered when he, I think, realized what it was. And then, we got engaged. And at the time, I would say a lot of our social network was like, you guys are too young.
Yeah.
You're too young to be getting married. You're too young to be, settling down, for whatever the hell that means. And that was an interesting part of our relationship as well.
A lot of people thought we were young, and a lot of our friends, didn't get married for a long time after
almost
that.
A decade.
You said something that about our assets coming together and about our lives coming together. I think we went for it from day one. We're if we're doing this the right way, or what we at least thought was the right way.
Yeah.
But even I was listening. What was I listening to recently? How there was just a huge debate around keeping your finances separate or your assets separate. And I mean, and maybe this will be a controversial topic, but in my mind, I don't know how else to do this without just pushing everything into the middle and understanding that we are a team now, and that's it.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point. And it was something that we probably didn't have as much of
probably
an
didn't talk
intentional
about it.
discussion about. It was
Yeah.
just, we just both kind of felt that way and just assumed, I think, that
Yeah.
it was like, it's either all, like, we're either in this together or we're
It's
not.
yeah,
And
it's
that,
really all or nothing.
yeah, and that started with our assets. I think we probably both had been given advice around prenups, and we both
Yeah.
were coming into a relationship with assets of our own.
Yeah.
And so I think both your family, your support system is going to be like, okay, well, are you making these decisions, especially if they think you're young. And to us, that was just a non-starter.
Yeah.
Neither of us really expected to get married. I don't think. We both had challenging experiences with relationships, and did not have a expectation that we were going to get married. Like, that was not this was not like a checklist. Like, I need to have a successful life, I need to get married, which I think a lot of people it is. It's like this is one of those checklist items. For us, that was not the case.
No, it was more just I didn't think what I wanted out of a marriage would have been possible at earlier points in our life. So what we have now, of course, is like I would not have dreamed that to be
Absolutely. Yeah.
a possibility or an option.
Yeah, I certainly did
to
not
work
as well.
towards. So I think that's what sort of maybe took us both off guard at the time, was like, but it did feel that way, like we had that potential.
Yeah.
So if we have that shot, then we're going to go for it, kind of thing.
Yes, yeah, and I think you'll as we have these conversations, people will pretty well recognize, and people that know us recognize, we're not exactly by half people.
No.
That's one thing that I think we're both much like. We're either doing it or not. There's no dunking the toe. There's no half committal. It's not. It's and I think when it comes to being an entrepreneur and being try to carve our part out of the world, you kind of have to have that mindset. I think if you try to be a successful entrepreneur and you dip your toe, you're going to struggle. It's just it takes. There's just so much. You have to drive through walls sometimes, and that's if you don't have full commitment. That's going to be a struggle. And I think even with our relationship, especially in the earlier time, if we didn't have that full commitment, it may not have worked to the degree it did. Like part of it was that we had that full 2 feet in.
And we had struggle. Like,
absolutely.
I was really unwell
Yep.
for a long period of time in the beginning of our relationship while we were in Penticton, while I first had my real estate license. Like, being uncomfortable was a constant.
Yep.
I had really severe endometriosis that nobody believed me for a very long period of time. So anyone struggling with endometriosis, it was absolutely horrific. And I ended up getting a private surgery.
Yeah.
We went to Vancouver, and that changed my life, because it was before that no one believed me, and it was debilitating pain. So if you have that, like, advocate for yourself over and over and over again. But that discomfort, sort of like, sheer will, sort of at the time, I think is what kind of threw us into this a little bit in terms of being entrepreneurs or self-starters. And at the time too, it was like I could only do what I could do.
Yeah.
I could never have been working 8 hours at a desk all
No,
day or
there's
something
no way.
during that time.
Yeah,
There's absolutely no way.
Yeah, and we even went down to like Las Vegas for vitamin therapy approaches.
We
Like
did
there was
everything.
about 2 years there where we were constantly tracking things out, and there would be weeks at a time where you would be, pretty well bedridden. Our dog at Cooper, the most brilliant dog. To this day, we have 3 dogs, and they're not here, so they can't hear me say this. But the most brilliant dog. Most emotionally sound animal I think I've ever experienced, and he was just your companion, your pillow, everything. I'd take it when you were bedridden. I'd take him out to pee, and he would be back upstairs in your bed before I swear I shut the door, like a rocket, just back right up there. I'd have to pick him up and take him outside. He would refuse to leave your side. Just brilliant. But yeah, it was very uncomfortable, and also like asset wise, like business decision wise, you go, okay, what business decisions could we have made differently back then? Well, we could have made different decisions with our assets.
Absolutely.
We sold instead of refinancing, a thing that we didn't understand enough about at the time.
And no one talked to us about it. Like our bankers or
nope,
like,
it was just
no one said there's other options.
There's other options, yeah. And looking back on it, that may be one of the decisions is rather than sell, maybe refinance.
Yes.
And we could still use some of that capital towards life things. But what I will say is if we didn't have those assets, we didn't have that option.
That's right.
It would have been so much more difficult. So when people are making decisions about investing in real estate, like that's part of it. Life happens.
Yeah.
And if you have the asset, at least you have the option. Maybe it sets back your portfolio a little bit, but at least you have the option.
Right.
If you don't have it, you don't have the option. Right?
Exactly.
And so that was, very, very important. And, our families were really involved with getting our career started in real estate and getting us in that direction. And without their support, those things would not have been helpful or available either. But yeah, it was like, to your point, there's a lot of discomfort early on. You dealt with a lot of physical stuff. I was dealing with a lot of mental stuff.
Yeah.
By this point now, I had been officially diagnosed with depression, whatever, that's a wide scope.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't until a few years even after that I officially got the bipolar diagnosis.
I think we were in Calgary.
We were back in Calgary at that point, and I actually was going to try this magnet therapy treatment that my mom had found that I think is pretty good efficacy rate for depression.
For depression.
But if you are bipolar, it can cause more swing with the manic side. And so doing the onboarding, I spent some time with a psychiatrist then, and he gave me the diagnosis, which wasn't necessarily surprising, but it's also, and this is, we'll talk about this more down the road.
Hard to hear.
It's hard to hear, and it's, we'll have probably full conversations around mental health and physical health period. That could probably be weeks. But like I say this all the time, it's a diagnosis that you're a little bit further down the crazy train. Like, I talk all the time that people don't ever, when they bring up a relationship or someone that has bipolar, you never hear them talk about the great painting or the great works they did. It's the time that they sold the house, bet it all on red, and disappeared to Mexico for a month.
Yeah.
Right? That's the story you hear, and so that's where your starting point is. And so we're both dealing with very uncomfortable health issues. And what it was value-wise, we talked to our kids about this, is we became more comfortable being uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And like the world now, we're very comfortable. Is there stress? Is there worries? Is all these things? But like, I think as parents, that's something we all need to be thinking about too, is like, how comfortable are our kids? We want the best for them, but a little discomfort is okay. And you can't, really progress in any way without being uncomfortable.
Yeah, and I think maybe our next conversation will be titled "Comfortable Being Uncomfortable," because there's a lot there when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a relationship, and parents.
Yes.
And we see that as parents for our kids, see it as a coach, the workforce as this next generation of people are entering it.
Yeah.
There's a real communication around comfort and being okay that I think, we might have opinions that differ from some other people, but I think that's important to talk about. But,
yeah, absolutely.
But to get back to our sort of origin, after we got married while we were still in Penticton, and then because of your health issues, the doctors had kind of told us it's going to be very difficult for you to have kids, right? Yeah,
they basically told me I couldn't get pregnant. Almost. Yeah. Like they were like, go straight to IVF. Just don't even
do not pass go.
Attempt.
So we had, it was sort of a natural progression. Like we kind of knew we wanted to have kids, and if it happened right away, great, but we were expecting it to take some time.
Yeah.
And so again, compared to our social, network, we had kids quicker and earlier than most of everybody in our circle, and it happened right away. And so you got pregnant really quickly.
Came off birth control pregnant in a month.
Yeah, in a month, which was a miracle. And so that was our son Aiden. And so that was when the big decision came, and this is where career and family and all these things meet. And so that's when we decided to move back to Calgary. Social, like your parents being here, was a huge part of that.
Yes.
But also
my parents' part, like at least my mom might have had to move to BC if we wouldn't have moved back.
Yeah, there are these moments where the line can move.
Yeah,
the story can be completely different, and us almost moving to Mexico would be one of those lines. I think that could possibly be an entire conversation as well. But we came very close to picking up everything and moving to Mexico was going to start a restaurant there. We had found the restaurant. We had put an offer down on the restaurant. Had an accepted offer, not just put down an offer, but we had an accepted offer. And then there was a crazy incident with your parents as they were driving back. We don't need to get into it fully right now, but that completely upset the apple cart.
My dad in to tell that story.
Yeah, I think that'll be a guest episode for sure. Eve can tell it himself because we don't do it justice. But that's how close we came to having a completely different line from Calgary. But then once we knew that wasn't happening, it was Calgary. Professionally speaking, it was a better opportunity. Penticton was just was too difficult, and the city really desperately wanted to stay quiet and sleepy. And
they didn't want growth.
No, and I mean, we were looking at buying like a business while we were there. It was a tanning salon, and they had they had valued it off of the back of a napkin basically.
Yeah.
And they gave us like 1 year of financials from like 3 years previous. That was their valuation. We were like, what the?
Yeah.
All right, we're out. So we moved back to Calgary. When I left Calgary in junior high, I went to high school, boarding school. I kind of left with 2 middle fingers up, like, I'm out. And then we moved back to Calgary about 8 blocks from where I grew up.
Yeah, dragged him back.
Yeah, which is always hilarious. That's like not just back to Calgary, but like literally back to my old neighborhood.
Yeah, that was a big sacrifice for you at the time. Like, you did not want to live in Calgary. That was a big thing. And I remember at the time being like, okay, I did not feel I could live out east.
Yeah.
So that was a big sacrifice you made, and I recognize that then and now. And I mean, maybe you like it here more now than you did then.
I've
But
acclimatized.
you were not like it wouldn't have been your choice if it wasn't for us and the family and that. You probably would not have stayed here.
No, and if it was, to be completely honest with that it probably would not even have been on my top 3 choices. It was the right choice in hindsight.
Yeah.
It was absolutely the right choice. Between family, obviously you have your immediate family here, but I also have a lot of family here, cousins and aunts and uncles and second cousins and a very big extended Russian family that a lot of them are here. And so that was helpful as well, and it was good. And I have friends from, childhood that are here. Not that I see much of them, but my cousin that would always keep me up to date on you. Of course, he was here as well. So it was absolutely the right decision, but it wasn't one I was excited to make at the time.
No.
But that's also okay. I mean, like, I think an important part about a relationship is that, like, people talk about everything being equal. It's got to be equal. It's got to be 50-50. And that's horseshit.
Yeah.
Yes, there's balance over time, but not everything is going to be 50-50. Not everything is going to be exactly spit down the middle. Not every day is going to be.
Yeah.
And that was the right decision for our family, and it was an adjustment I had to make mindset-wise and everything. But it was the right decision. And if I had stood too firm on it needing to be exactly what I need, 100% or even half, we wouldn't be here.
No.
And who knows what our life would look like.
Calgary's come a long way since then.
It has.
A lot of things. Like, I know food was a big thing for you. Like, there just wasn't the options we have today here in Calgary.
Yeah,
so there's a lot more to do and experience here than there was then, I think. Like, there's a lot more diversity here.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And so, because that was one of the things I was looking at, was maybe starting a restaurant or looking into doing something in that format. And a number of things. One, I didn't think Calgary was the right space at that time for the thing that I would like to do. But more importantly, it was have a family or have a restaurant. I could not do both well for the person that I am, with the brain that I have, with where I was in that mental health space and journey, but also the commitment that I wanted to make to you and to whatever kids we had. Yeah. So that was where a bit of a career adjustment happened.
And Aiden was not an easy baby.
No, that would have been awful. I mean, he didn't sleep for a year and a half.
Aiden did not sleep more than a couple hours for 18 months.
18 months, yeah.
Like, he was very challenging baby.
Very.
And thank God we were both there to, like, trade off.
Yeah, I mean, you're not exaggerating at all. Like 2 hours of sleep at a time for say 18 months. I remember the first time he slept through the night was at my cousin's wedding, and
in a crib,
terrible little crib, and it was like 6 hours. It wasn't like sleeping through the night for us. At that point, it was 6 hours, and we like woke up in a panic, running into the room because we were worried something had happened to him.
Yeah.
And then we were like, okay, great, he's made it through the night. That's gonna turn the corner. Now we're gonna get some sleep. No, it was another 6 months.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a big part of it. But also career-wise, entrepreneur-wise, that's when we were sitting around, we were camping and, sitting around the fire and having a conversation. And you asked me like, if you could just wipe this slate clean, you could do anything you want in the world, what would you do? Mm-hmm. Right? And that's where the music conversation came up. Mm-hmm. And that's a really important thing as a partner, that you were putting that forward to me. You were the one that pushed me to pursue this.
Yeah.
You're the one that saw that thing in me. So that sort of support as a partner is so important, the most important, that you have somebody that is pushing you to succeed, supporting what you sometimes won't even see in yourself.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Supporting sometimes that which you don't even see in yourself, and to just have an open conversation. Like, what is it that you want? What is it that if you had that pie in the sky dream of just clear it all? Because life is a thing that you make decisions based on, okay, I would like to do this, but this looks great, but there's always a but. And it's important that you weigh those things in. But to have a partner that sits down with you and goes, just take the buts out for a minute. Yeah. And then what? Then what? And what does it look like? And from there, you actually found the school.
Yeah. Well, this all stems from, like, if you're going to go into this self-employed journey and this entrepreneurship journey, like, you have to have passion for what you're doing.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to, because it is hard enough without it. Like, you have to have that part of it. And, I think that we can talk ourselves out of that. We can get too much in our brains and not thinking about what we're passionate about, and we can talk ourselves out of these things. So that was just like a very relaxed conversation that really stuck with you.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same conversations, we are having, like, with our kids. Like, what do you guys want to be doing? And it can change, of course, but just because you're an adult doesn't mean it's too late to have those conversations.
Yes.
And I think we grow up and go, well, we can't have dreams anymore. We're all in the grind of the day-to-day life, and you get stuck in life and how it goes by. Yeah. But if you're going to make the jump and you're going to be self-employed and you're going to be an entrepreneur, you need to find that thing.
Absolutely. And now from the other side, whatever it is, 15 years later now, when people come to us with concepts and ideas and business ideas, those are conversations we can now turn around and put back, right?
Yeah.
It's that same concept. Like, why are you doing it? And then that went right into, from there, you found a school for music engineering and producing, so I could learn the technical side of it. I've been playing instruments since I was a kid, and so you found this school back into a different type of education, but education all the same. And while I was in school, we also started doing infills, and doing complete, tearing down, building from scratch duplexes with your dad and a third partner, Mario. So I was doing that while I was also going to school, while we had a young child and
a child that didn't sleep.
A child that didn't sleep. So we're doing all that at the same time.
And I was
then
building my real estate
you were
career.
building your real estate career, and really hustling with that. And then and I came home one day from school and basically was like, well, I'm going to start a record label. Found an artist.
Yeah.
We're going to do this.
Actually,
and then
that
we
was
moved.
before we even had Aiden.
Yeah. So we moved, had Aiden, started a record label, all within about 6 months.
Yeah, it was very close together.
Yeah, very close. And that's part one. I think that's a good spot to tie that little story off in a bow. And I think it's a good one, because from there, that's where a number of other decisions, intentional, otherwise, started to expand. Really how we were as a married couple, supporting our individual entrepreneur challenges, but then also those entrepreneur decisions together.
Well, it's kind of interesting to look back, and we'll explore this further. It's like obviously where our businesses and lives are today is very different than what they were then. But if we wouldn't have taken those first steps, all these other doors would not have opened.
Absolutely.
Like there's so many doors and opportunities that came as a result of those initial decisions that we were making at the time, which is what's so exciting about this journey in entrepreneurship is you have no idea what, you know, saying yes to something could mean later down the road.
Absolutely. It's not linear. Really cool. It's never linear, and that's part of the fun. That's part of what makes it interesting.
Absolutely.
Is that you can have an idea of where you want it to go, but how it gets there is never going to be just a straight line. So we'll pick up there next time, and looking forward to talking about it further.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Built this empire from the ground, never backing down, never bound. Two hearts, one vision, we stay true. In the thick of it, in the Phipps of it.